Hey guys, welcome to the Unleash podcast brought to you by Hidden Gem, where we talk about how to unleash your hidden potential. I'm your host, Yuri Diogenes, and we have a great episode for you today featuring Katherine Chung. Thank you, Katherine, for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, before we jump into today's topics, we would like to invite you to subscribe to this podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Also, you can always find this podcast on our Hidden Gem website, hiddengem.net. If you live in the area, DFW area, and you have not been at Hidden Gem, you can always grab a free trial pass at the website. So with that, let's get started. Katherine, thank you very much for joining us today. And let's start talking a little bit about your background. Tell us a little bit more about you.
I don't know how far back you want to go. As far as the fitness portion goes, started back in 2012 with CrossFit. As far as lifting and everything, and then I joined the military from 2012 to 2016. Got back, kind of dabbled in bodybuilding a little bit while I was in the military and powerlifting.
Oh, really? Cool.
And then I found my way back to CrossFit again. And then did that for a little bit. Did some distance running as well. Got really into that. And then just recently, I switched over to strictly weightlifting, Olympic lifting.
Okay. So do you think that now you found what you really enjoy? I know you enjoy fitness in general, but looks like you've been through bodybuilding, CrossFit, running, and now weightlifting. So is complementary, or you think you found your passion?
I've always loved the Olympic lifting. That was always my favorite portion of CrossFit. So I think I've definitely found my sport. It's been super fun. I think this is probably month 4 as far as doing strictly the Olympic lifting, and the team that I train with, my coach, I mean, they're amazing. So I think I've definitely found my sport now.
Are you preparing for any competition?
Yes. So actually May 9th, I'm doing my first weightlifting competition.
And when you were at CrossFit, did you did more for fun, or did you also compete?
I competed. I did some team comps and some individual comps. I loved competing in CrossFit. It was so much fun. They're super fun competitions, but the gymnastics was always my downfall. So I never did that great.
Yeah, it looks like you really like to heavy lift.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
So you probably did it pretty good on deadlifts in CrossFit. Everything that was heavy, you were super excited about it. But when it comes to gymnastics and all the cardio involved, probably not so fun.
Yeah, I did love the distance running a lot, and that was fun. I actually started the running to get better at CrossFit, and then just kind of fell in love with that. But getting strong has been a whole different kind of push, and the training and everything like that. So definitely enjoying it a lot.
In your opinion, as far as the mindset, do you think that the mindset for the Olympic lifting is totally different from CrossFit? Which one do you think is more challenging? I mean, from a psychological perspective.
I mean, they're both really challenging. The switching over to Olympic lifting was kind of an eye-opener. I almost felt like I'd been lifting incorrectly, my entire time in CrossFit, because with CrossFit, I mean, you do still focus on the technical aspects, but you just don't go in depth.
Right.
When I switched over to strictly Olympic lifting, you're breaking down these lifts, and you're getting really deep into the technical side. It's not just about getting the bar from A to B, and with as heavy as possible. It's how you move your feet, I even changed my grip on the bar. There's just so many different aspects. So for me, in the beginning, it was really mentally exhausting, just with all the technique work and everything. But I think my history of, doing the other sports, helped me kind of maintain the mental strength, I would say.
Yeah, and probably for you to do all the techniques correctly, you have to decrease the weight, and that
Mm-hmm.
probably also affected you because you so used to heavy lift that you like now lifting lighter because you have to get the technique right, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, I was used to just, the whole grip it and rip it mindset. So that definitely went out the door. You have to leave your ego out the door.
Yeah,
It's not just, the bar made it overhead, so it's okay. It was, well, the bar made it overhead, but it wasn't pretty.
yeah.
So, yeah, definitely just getting that out of my mind of like, okay, well, just because I'm strong and I can lift it doesn't mean I'm lifting it correctly. So that was
So
that
when
was
you look back, you see a lot of things that you did wrong, probably.
what was that?
When you look back, you probably see a lot of things that you did wrong.
Oh, for sure. I've looked back at some of my old videos and definitely cringed. It was, I was like, wow, I lifted that, but there was X, Y, and Z wrong. So,
Yeah, that's really good because it shows that you are making progress and
mhm.
less ego lifting than anything else.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's no ego in weightlifting. You can't. So,
And did you change a lot of your diet or not really?
no. I've always been a macro counter. And always, tried to pay attention to my nutrition and everything without being too strict. It's, I'm very mindful of the way that I eat. I did get a nutrition coach,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of months ago, just because with the weightlifting being in weight classes and everything like that, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't having to do any like drastic cut
Right.
or anything before the competition, and just to make sure that I was eating enough without overeating. But I mean, I've always been careful to pay attention to my diet.
And
So
you are part of this seminar at Hidden Gym that is coming up. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited about it actually. So it's a women's seminar. I put together a amazing lineup of coaches. Some of these coaches I know personally. Some of them I've just watched them in the gym and everything. And they're all so knowledgeable in their fields. We've got powerlifting, we've got weightlifting, bodybuilding, boxing, lifestyle nutrition, fascial stretching. And the goal of it is just to educate and also like empower other women. I feel like, you know, there's so many things that I wish that I had known
Mm-hmm.
at the start of my journey. It would have saved me so much kind of just trouble and frustration, that I wanted to put this together to not only educate, like I said, empower. There's It started out as just me wanting to help my friend, start coaching and weightlifting. And then it became a whole women's seminar, and so back in my journey, when I started with bodybuilding,
Mm-hmm.
I went into it just not knowing anything. I didn't know a lot about nutrition. I didn't know a lot about lifting at
Right.
all. And so coming out of that, I developed eating disorders, and many other issues. So I'm hoping with this, it'll be an eye opener as far as you know, teaching other women that, you can eat and lift heavy, and do all these things and not be scared or be intimidated to go pick up weights. It's not all cardio and 1,200 calorie diets.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's
Um,
very important to emphasize. And as far as the target audience, any woman, anyone can join.
Exactly. And I was, and especially with summer coming around the corner and it's like, oh, get the summer body and everything. I've seen it time and time again with other females that I know and, other ones I don't know. It's just, they go in there and, we don't see many in the weight area because for a lot of other females, it can be intimidating or they're afraid they're going to get bulky and just things of that nature. So they're on Stairmaster or they're just, doing, like, these HIIT workouts, and there's not anything wrong with that. I mean, there's a time and a place, but teaching that there's for one, there's these coaches that are so knowledgeable in their fields, but also the fact of like you can lift weights or you can box and you can be strong and still be feminine.
And you don't need to have such a restrict diet that you are hungry all the time.
Exactly.
Because I think that this is the biggest struggle probably, because many people they continue so strict and they lose their weight. I've seen that many times, and then after they accomplish what they want, if it is the summer body or a competition, then they blow up again, right? Because they started this same old habits of eating desperately.
Exactly, and it can come from just a personal mindset of like, oh, I competed and now I can go and eat whatever because I'm super shredded, or just not being educated by their coach. Maybe that you have to ease back into normal eating carefully. So there's just so many different factors, and I'm really hoping that with this seminar that we can kind of break the ice on that and get people thinking and educated, and if this one goes well, then, maybe diving deeper into each sport specifically later on.
So when is going to be the seminar?
It is June 12th.
And it will be the whole day or half day? How it is?
No, it's going to be from 9 to 12. We might end up having to push that a little bit later. Just because of how many coaches we have, and we don't want to cut anybody off. So this is going to be obviously just an introduction for them to speak on their professions and everything, and speak enough to where it's they can get the point across and whatnot. But we don't want to. But kind of not go too deep in it yet.
And there is any cost for this?
No, it's free.
Oh, but only for gym members or for everyone?
It's going to be for members and non-members.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. We want
there is any type of registration or something?
So we are asking, it's actually my number that they're texting for an RSVP, just so we can get a head count since we're going to be providing breakfast as well. So breakfast is going to be catered, and it's, like I said, it's completely free to members and non-members.
This is amazing.
No
this
cost.
Is an outstanding opportunity. I've never seen something so target like this with a great lineup. I've seen the lineup and it's amazing. There is many coaches there that I know. So that's a great opportunity. So if you are in the DFW area, make sure to visit. There is any information? Is there a Weber Hida Gym website? They can look at it.
So right now we're just broadcasting it over social media. I've emailed all the coaches the Instagram and Facebook posts so they can post on their social media. And then I'm getting flyers printed so we can actually have pamphlets, and I'm going to go hand those out at Hidden. I'm going to give them to Nikki so she can have them over at North Dallas Strength. And we're just going to try and get this out there as much as possible.
This is great. Are you going to be one of the speakers too?
I am not. So I'll be doing the introduction, but I will not be a part of the lineup for.
You certainly will be watching our presentation for sure, right?
Yes, I thought about it, and I did want to, but this for me, it was kind of became a passion
Hmm.
project. Just seeing it come to life is honestly just makes me so happy, and I am more than happy to sit back and let the coaches do the
Yeah,
speaking
yeah.
and everything like that.
That's great.
So
Congratulations for the vision to get this done. Congratulations to Greg and Unleashed, not Unleashed, Hidden Gin for make it happen as well. The facility is great,
yes.
and the lineup is amazing. The one thing that I was looking at the lineup here, and as you said, you have boxing coach, bodybuilding, you have Olympic weightlifting, mental health. That's quite a very unique subject. What's really you're trying to accomplish with this mental health? Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because you create this lineup. So when you decide to put mental
Correct.
health on this lineup, what was your rationale behind that?
So with the mental health aspect, it's great to cover everything as far as nutrition and the lifting or the
Hmm.
training side, right? But I think there's a missing link there, and to me that was the mental health. Shannon, who's the speaker, it was actually her idea, and I loved it because there I we're everybody's on social media nowadays. Everybody is posting and everything like that. You've got people sliding in other people's DMs and everything, and there's a lot of
Yep.
cyberbullying. There's a lot of unrealistic expectations for how what is considered a fit body. And that can obviously take a toll on your mental health. You're scrolling Instagram, you're scrolling Facebook, and you see all these, what you consider perfectly fit bodies. They're shredded, they've got abs, or they're just super fit and strong. And you're like, and if you're somebody who's doesn't fit those standards, or you don't visualize yourself as that, it can be
Overwhelming. Yeah, it can be.
yeah, it's overwhelming, and for some people that is unrealistic. They're seeing these people that just stage lean or anything like that, and or if you're even in the beginning of your fitness journey, and you're like, I'm gonna look like that. Well, that's years of conditioning and
Hmm.
training and dieting. So I think just touching on that and letting people know that Instagram, Facebook, whatever other social media you want to use, that's a highlight reel.
Yeah, and I
It's not
really think is the
like,
topic is very interesting because there's a lot of people that also, and I've seen that many times doing transformation challenge. They start this journey so motivated, and with time they get so frustrated because their posts don't get any likes because some people come just to say bad things. There are a lot of people that just like spend time criticizing others. So these
mhm,
people sometimes they start and they just derail completely because of those problems on social media.
yes. And I've seen some of the messages that, have come across my friends, DMs, and I'm just floored at how people can be so mean,
Hmm.
and just to somebody who is obviously working their tail off, training, following their program, watching their diet, and just because they look a certain way, or because they're doing this type of workout, it's like, they people feel the right, or feel like it's okay to say these terrible
Yeah,
things. And to somebody who is, I mean, you can be the most confident person, and if you're getting messages like that or comments like that, it's going to derail
yeah.
you. It's going to affect your next workout. It's going to affect how you feel like you're progressing, and all of it. So, the mental health aspect, I'm very thankful that Shannon brought it up, because it is something that I think needs to be,
Address.
addressed a lot more than what it
Yeah,
is, because there's more
I love it.
than just lift
Yeah, I
nutrition.
really like this subject. It was really important to include this. As you said, even people that are experienced, even people that are on this journey for a long time, sometimes they
Hmm.
can get affected by those negative
Oh,
comments for sure.
for sure.
Did you had any experience like that, if you don't mind asking?
I didn't. A lot of my issues with like body image and everything came actually when I was in the military. Because of we had height and weight standards, and even though I was fit, I had a top level, PFT and everything like that. I was considered overweight. So and we did weigh-ins every 3 months. Every time we had a weigh-in, I had to, do a complete, deplete my body, water cut, all of
Almost
that.
like getting ready to compete.
Right, yeah, and it was very frustrating, and I always had, that my command always had an eye on me, so I was watched like a hawk because of how much I weighed, even though I was fitter, my uniforms fit correctly, everything like that, and so it affected me a lot. I was already dealing with an eating disorder from competing in bodybuilding. That was not my sport. My prep, it started something for me. It just kind of triggered something for me. So I was dealing with an eating disorder, and then I had my command, and being considered overweight by the military. So that was where I struggled. And eating disorders never really go away. So that's another kind of like mental health thing. But as far as like being bullied over social media, I haven't experienced that personally, but I have witnessed it.
Do you think that all those tough experience that you had that led you to have those problems in the military, somehow today when you look back, you think it made you stronger?
I do. I think it made me stronger and a lot more self-aware. I'm aware of how food affects me. I'm aware of how, training affects me and things like that, because I have to be. Like I said, I mean, even though the eating disorder started with bodybuilding and I don't do that anymore, it never goes away. So there's always going to be like little triggers, but I've had to, step back, and become very self-aware.
Yeah, but not only from the
mentally,
self-awareness perspective. I think you also got stronger mentally, don't you think?
oh, for sure. Yes, absolutely. It's given me, and it's made me want to help others, do that and learn how to develop that mental strength.
Yeah, because I think that this is a great testimony, and it's important for you to share this because there is a lot of times that we are on those dark places because of something that happened, right? And at the end of the day,
Yes.
if we are able to pass through that obstacle, we become stronger. And I think you are living proof of that because you were able to accomplish so much more once you broke that barrier.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I really, owe it a lot to, wanting to get past that dark place, because you have to want to, you have to want to
Right.
not sit in that dark place and not just, fester in it. And then being, having enough courage on top of that to reach out for help. I mean, the community that I've developed for myself and the people that I've decided to surround myself with have had the biggest impact. And because they're positive, they're uplifting, they're encouraging, and that's huge. And I think, I used to be an athlete that was like, no, I'm focused. I have to isolate myself, and I have to, do it all by myself because that's the only way I can stay focused. And what I realized was that was doing more damage to not only my mental health, but just my progress.
Right.
You can only clap for yourself so much.
But that's something
So
very bodybuilding oriented because I compete in bodybuilding many times before, and I have the same feeling that many times I need to be isolated to focus and all that. But when you go to another sport, nowadays I practice jiu-jitsu and judo, which are very tough martial arts, and is more a collective training, and you count way more on the community. Same thing for you on weightlifting right now, probably, and in CrossFit even more because the community is much bigger, and people are really working together to make progress. So it is good that you've been through all those experiences and you can share that because for people that are starting their journey, many times they go to this direction of, oh, I need to be isolated, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and there's nothing wrong with being focused and everything like that. I think there's a time and place to not necessarily isolate yourself, but maybe kind of stay more to yourself. But at the same time, knowing just having the not the awareness that you do have a community to reach out to, that people that you don't even know are clapping for you. Shannon and I talked about it at the gym just the other night. We're like, we see these amazing, athletes at Hidden, and we've never talked to them, but just walking by and smiling and saying I support you can do so much.
Yeah.
So I think that just kind of building that community, and what I hope this seminar, going back to that, is going to show is that we're all here for each other. We may not necessarily talk to each other. We may not necessarily work out together, but we're all clapping for each other.
Yeah. Now there is another topic which I saw here on the lineup, which is powerlifting. Okay, that's cool. But there is something called hybrid athlete. What is the hybrid athlete?
So that is actually something that I was identifying as before I switched over straight to weightlifting. But just Nikki, she's incredible. She's a powerlifter. She's set records. She's so strong, but she's also an amazing runner, and I think actually, if I remember correctly, she is going into the obstacle course racing, OCR. So the hybrid athlete is just, somebody that trains in two different sports. She does the powerlifting, but she also does distance running.
Isn't this almost like a CrossFitter because it's multiple sports?
Sort of. I don't want to call it CrossFit because I mean, so she's actually working with my old running coach as well, or they train together, and they actually have a hybrid program. I'm not going to say too much about it because I don't know much about it, but it's you're training as a runner. You're doing running workouts. So like one of my old workouts was 6 miles, but I'd have like a 2-mile warm up and then 4 30-second sprints with 2 minutes in between, and then the rest of the run would be the cool down. So you're training as a runner, but then you're also following a lifting program. And it's so much fun because, what I loved about it was the running made me mentally stronger, right? It was, it's, I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out kind of the best way.
No, but it's amazing because if you look at the objectives of each one of those, in one side you are trying to lift a lot of weight, which requires you to probably eat a little bit more, have a different diet, and then you are a runner, which might have a different diet as well, because there are different goals. So being able to do both things in a high level is really tough.
Yes, it is, and it's incredible. And I've followed Nikki on social media, and she's absolutely killing it. And it's very demanding. But they do complement each other. I think in a certain way. I always, whenever I was doing, I always joked. I was like, muscle moves muscle. I had strong legs to carry me through these runs, but then I had the muscle endurance, to help with the lifting. And
that's why I give a lot of credit to CrossFitters, because it's really hard to do everything that they do on that level. I know that there is a lot of debate between bodybuilders and CrossFit and even powerlifters because of the form is sometimes not correct and everything. So they criticize a lot of CrossFitters because of their form. But look, if you are doing on that level for that amount of time, you gotta really give credit because those guys are very good athletes.
Sure. For sure, yes, and we're all working hard. I mean, we're all just trying to excel in our sports, and so that's one thing that I love about the hidden community is because you don't see any of that hating on each other.
Right.
You got the powerlifters over in one corner, and you got weightlifters in one corner, bodybuilders in another, and we're all clapping for each other. So
yeah, because I always said, look, y'all are trying to achieve the best as you can within your sport. It's not a competition among the sports. Yeah, it's more like a community to support each other. That is how it should be. That's why I like a hidden gym environment because it's very supportive, regardless of which sport you are, investing more to exercise.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's a great thing about this lineup too, because this lineup you basically cover everything.
And that's what we were trying to do. We wanted to well, sorry, like I wanted to, make sure that, we didn't leave anything out, that no matter what your goal is, there's something in this seminar for everybody. I don't care if you're just starting out or if you're already an established athlete that, has been doing this for X amount of years, you're going to get something out of this because each of those speakers brings something to the table that you probably haven't heard before, or they're going to say it in a different way that like kind of clicks in that somebody's been telling you forever. So I really that was my goal, is just make sure that nothing was missed.
And I'll go even further than that because I know that a lot of people will be listening to this or watching on YouTube after the seminar. I would say that this should be something that you do not once in a lifetime like you're doing now. It should be something that you do as part of the calendar. It should be something that you put on the calendar for every year or every quarter or every semester to happen because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a success, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will want to join when they found out about the lineup. So that's the plan, to have more.
That is, I've been thinking about it. So I'm not gonna promise anything right now, but once I see the turnout of this one and how it's received, my idea that I'm having is to take each of these coaches and have an individual seminar so that they can dive deep head first into their sports and maybe even do like maybe for the weightlifting one, do an on hands portion of the seminar. So extend the time frame, do a classroom portion, and then also do like a hands-on going over just basic barbell movement. So it's kind of like an introduction.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Great idea.
So that's what I'm thinking right now. So, but I'm just gonna see how this plays out, how it's received. But I would love to see it grow into that.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a success. So, if you are listening to this episode before Saturday, June 12th, make sure to register and show up and take advantage of this great seminar. A lot of great coaches and free breakfast, amazing environment. So it's a win-win.
Absolutely, we're hoping to get as many faces there as possible. So we're really excited. All the coaches are excited. It's going to be a good time.
Yep. Katherine, thank you very much for your time today, for joining. And thank you very much for envisioning this and make it happen. I wish you all the success for the seminar, and for sure for other editions that I'm pretty sure will come later on.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of Unleash Podcast. Make sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Click on the bell to receive notifications, or Apple or Spotify. See you next time. We have a lot more to come.